master has returned.
Way too small. There you go. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and it's been a hot minute. It's been a really long time since I did any sort of art on the channel. That's because I've been kind of busy. I've been a little busy out in the world doing my thing. So it's great to kind of be back and just kind of back to the basics. And we're going back to the basics with the diorama because that's what I've been cooking up lately. So. As you'll notice, it's kind of a similar diorama to one we kind of did a very, very long time ago. Because this is meant for my season 2 fembots, the Elita 1 shelf. Now, this diorama, that whole display has kind of gone through a very unique sort of history, a lot of changes over the years. And so this is going to be kind of like hopefully the definitive version of the diorama. So this one is meant to fit up in the Gersby up there, where I have my little figures at the moment. That's all my Star Wars figures right there, my Legos. So just trying to keep them from because they're in a spot where it's like they could have gotten they could get some paint splatter on them, but that's where this shelf is going to go. Diorama. It's kind of bright. Just bring that down just a bit. There we go. Yeah, it should be better. All right. Sorry about that. I was just kicked out of my own fucking thing. But yeah, so that's our so right now, obviously, if you've been following me on Twitter, I've been posting a lot of this on Twitter, the progress, and I used a bunch of spray paint just to kind of create the main sort of layout and the base coats for this one. I'm just gonna kind of bring this desk a little closer to me. There we go. But yeah, so I did a quick gray tone layer on the base. So I've got some little details here. You can see it. Oh, let's shoot it. Oh, what the heck are you doing? Hold on, let's move my light. Let's bring it over. There. Okay. So yeah, there's our base layer. So we've got a lot of Cybertronian sort of line work here. Is that's kind of how the buildings and it's a robotic world. It's supposed to be all made of metal and stuff like that. So you kind of have to go for it. So yeah, there's the little details, and this is going to help. And this is going to house all my female Autobots from the Search for Alpha Trion episode. So yeah, we'll do this one next but I'm going to start on the back layer first and foremost, which you'll kind of see is pretty much the same sort of idea as the first version of this diorama. The reason why I wanted to change it, is because I wasn't really happy with the original diorama. Just didn't really sit well with me personally, and I felt like I could do better, and hopefully I can do better with this one. And obviously, I need to make it fit in a new space I have allocated for it. So, but yeah, we got some line work I used with a Poshka to kind of line up where I want my lines to kind of go. Right here we're gonna have kind of like a gutter almost, kind of like a going to an abyss, kind of just doing that sort of thing. I got that idea from a piece of artwork. I saw the art, so and it's kind of having trouble with the. You can kind of see it from this one. I was kind of having trouble with the perspective, so just trying to figure out how to make this kind of make sense. But we'll kind of stick with our original plan here. Don't worry about it too much because you're not gonna really notice it as much when you have on the shelf. So when you overthink it, you can kind of it kind of just makes it even worse. I feel like so. But yeah. So there's our planets. We're gonna obviously go ahead and touch up some of these buildings here because we got some of these blemishes that kind of happen sometimes when you're using spray paint. I didn't really account for that. I was using my stencils, so there's an easy fix for that though. I have a few other extra things. So what we're going to start off by doing is we are going to go ahead and fix up the buildings, the blue buildings, and then we'll kind of work on the the main colors for um, the arc base, anyways. So we'll just kind of get started here. And I don't think we really need to touch up these ones very much. They're pretty. I just gonna kind of fix up that one. But let's start off with the big one in the middle there. And I'll grab. Now I am kind of short on plates, so I have to be a bit more conscious of that. And let's see. All right. So let's grab my put on some blue earlier. So just do little puddles. Not sure it fits necessarily, but we're going to be doing different shades of blue anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. So just going to bring this. We'll kind of start with this area because I want this kind of match up more, like because it's a little bit. There's a bigger gap here than here, and it's kind of messing with my OCD a little bit. So just kind of do like a little extension of this building here. Do you know what? Real quick before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and tape off the edges. Just so I don't have to worry about painting over the blues. Yeah. There we go. Yes, I used all spray paint yesterday for all this, so for even for the planets. So might touch up these guys a little bit, but we'll get to it when we get to it. I just want to get the big stuff out of the way first and foremost. Tidy it up after. Yeah. Okay. That's good enough. All right, let's go back to it. It's being weird. Hold on. What's going on here? It's kind of watery sort of business going on. Just add a little bit of extra sort of a line work to them. But yeah, so the reason why I'm going with blue buildings though is because that's kind of how you would see them in the cartoon, when they would kind of focus on like one particular building, like the Ark or whatever. Um, too far with that. But like in the distance, you'd kind of see like these blue buildings and stuff instead of the being fully colored. It's gonna need a brush. Okay, good enough. Okay, and I'll go over here and fix up this side. Um, okay, there's this little bit of a blemish here, and we're kind of you can really tell there, so it's kind of like this. And just kind of make that part of this building here. Just going like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. But yeah, so in the cartoon, when you see the buildings, they'd be a kind of this blue color. Um, oop, screwed that up. Mm, I'll fix it later. I think I use that Poshka to fix that, like little things like that, because I don't want. Yeah, that's fine. Do as I say, not as I do. Also, gotta be really careful because some of the foam kind of warped it a little bit here, so I gotta be just kind of careful not to lay it on too thick. Otherwise, it could ruin everything. I'll do one of these. Just a little bump out here. It's more interesting. Yeah, starting off with all the buildings in the background first and foremost for this one, and then we'll move on to the bottom half. Background and foreground. It's gonna go with these things. I'll just leave that alone. Let my Poshkas take care of that. Okay, we'll let it dry for a minute. Grab the left side. And so there's a little bit of a blemish here, not too noticeable, so we'll just kind of make it a part of this building. There we go. Not gonna worry about being too detailed with the buildings. Like I kind of found out from doing the Galvatron shelf that it's kind of better just to do very, very simple shapes for the Cybertronian buildings because when you try to be too detailed, it kind of makes it look cartoony, you know. So just have very just simple shapes like these, just like very simple silhouettes, kind of helps get a job done. Let's paint it all. We'll go back over some of these things with the different shade, but I've already committed to it, so I might as well just keep going. Gotta keep consistency. It doesn't make sense. There. There. That's better. Ignore that tip there, so to speak. But yeah, so this shelf actually, this for these characters in particular, kind of start off a different way. They used to be with the main Autobots. Like it used to be season one, the Dinobot season one, season two, then the 86 movie shelf, the Blaster shelf, and then the Fembots because I didn't really have plans for combiners at the time because I was just like, well, maybe just do the combiner team, that's it, or the combined form, that's it. But with the new layout, with the way I kind of restructured everything, I decided, maybe we can do both the team and the combined forms. That's why I moved to the 86 movie bots away from the original Billy and gave them kind of like the center Billy right here that we have now with the Unicron and all the kind of uh, what's it's going to be kind of meant for the all the 86 movie casts. So make sure I keep looking at the screen. The screen, my StreamYard is right behind me, so I have to kind of look behind me every time I Need to check what I'm doing. Make sure I'm in full view, or my art is anyway. So, but then this shelf, and so because I moved into doing the combiner teams on the shelves, I was like, okay, well, I need to move the fembots because they're smaller characters, so they need to kind of have a smaller space. And originally I moved them to the skinny billies right next to the Unicron shelf, but then I was just like, now I'm kind of just like, well, I kind of want to keep all of season 1 and 2 together, and the fembots were a part of season 1 and 2, so I was like, well, maybe I should put them with the combiners. So that's where this idea kind of came from. The same thing with the Insecticon shelf, which I'll kind of get into more when I do that shelf eventually. Talk about more of the thought process there, but it's kind of similar to this. But hopefully I can get to doing more dioramas this year. I also want to get back to doing the draw streams. It's been way too long since I've done those. It's been way too busy. Other things. So. But I'm sure there's a bunch of unfinished art I can just whip out of my sketch pad and get going on. Yeah, that should be good enough. Yeah, let's just fill in this area a bit more. Let that dry. Other side. Tape. And there's no real blemishes here, so don't worry about it too much. Try to get the edges here. Get rid of all this orange. Okay. Just kind of following the shape of the building here. They have a lot of like rounded sort of buildings in the original cartoon, so I'll leave the big tower bits to later. Okay. Just a little blemish here. Just like that. But yeah, I kind of went for like a kind of a pinkish sort of color, pinkish purple color for the sky. Just because I thought it would be a kind of nice contrast for um, the orange and the yellows and golds. It's going to be in this because a lot of it's going to be like a metallic gold for the the base here. I just used an orange for the base color, just kind of figure out which parts are going to be what. So, but yeah, I think we'll let that all kind of dry off for a minute. Actually, I want kind of let's cover up these orange bits here. Let's just do this. There we go. Okay, I'll let it dry for a bit. And we'll move on to the base layer. So move this guy away. All of my blues sort of dry. Oops. And we've got a base, which is going to be kind of a mix of different colors. I haven't really fully committed either way, so I'm just gonna kind of go in with some different shades of yellow and orange to kind of figure out which part's gonna be what. Um, the orange is going to kind of represent the bronze. The yellow is going to represent the gold, and then I'll keep the parts gray that I want to represent because I want to have the three colors I want to kind of have my main colors would be orange, would be gold, orangey, bronze, and then like a silver or a metallic black or gray or something like that. Kind of break things up a bit, make it look a little bit less monotonous. So that's what we'll kind of do real quick. Is just a quick coat of just kind of figure out where we want everything to kind of go mostly. Um, yeah, I might add some like little blue details. We'll see. We'll worry about those later though. So. And just kind of grab one of these brushes. And use a sponge stick. I like the idea of this staying gray, like kind of the middle part. And I don't know, or parts of it maybe. I'm trying to think here. Well, let's keep the side parts gray, and then the middle part, yeah, do that instead. I'm not gonna worry too much about these little details because I can just go over them later. That's gonna be orange. That'll be orange. That'll be orange. Just kind of identify my spots here. And then you kind of want to pick out the ones that are kind of not connected to the other oranges. So this will be a gray. This will probably be the yellow. You know, it's orange here, so that's gonna be a different color. So we'll probably just go like that here for this, and then that and that. So orange, gray. Let's see. Underneath should be like kind of a. That's some problem figuring out here. Do that one. Do this one. And then do the same thing here. So that guy, this guy. And then I guess the under bits. No, we'll leave that. We'll leave that gray actually. Let's see. Let's do this guy. And this guy. Let's do this guy. This guy. Okay. Yeah, that should be good. These are going to be all of our bronze, basically. That's what these oranges kind of identify. Just trying to map things out. We'll just have a nice center undercolor before we do the metallics. Then on top of all that, we'll do like a nice like black wash. And do some dry brushing, make it look weathered, make it look like it's been lived in, you know. And then just kind of do our details on top of it. Okay. I want to get the edges too. I can sell it when it's on the shelf. Won't be doing a second coating. I think that kind of help having it be a bit more wet. Just doing one coat is enough. And it also kind of helps. Just use one of these brushes just to fill in the gaps. So it's supposed to be kind of like a battle because Cybertron is supposed to be a kind of like a battle worn out sort of planet. So you want to kind of it's old and ancient and all that. So like you don't want to kind of like make it look new. You want to kind of make it look more rusty and grungy and like it's seen better days. You know. And let's go over all this stuff. I kind of want to do some detail work with this little circle thing I made, but let's go over it all. Oh, I'm not really showing very well. Hold on. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. Just add a bit more here. Okay, and we'll kind of start from one side and go to the other. Do this. Just making sure. Oh, not showing it. Okay. Okay. And then, oh, I guess we can do this part here. Went too far. It's paint. It can be painted over. So, brush. Hair stuck in there. Hold on. Let me see. Pull it out with a screwdriver. Okay. Let's go up here. But it's actually kind of a crazy coincidence this time because Like Toys, the company on has been making fembots as action figures and stuff like that. So I kind of posted. There, two of them are actually in the thumbnail of Chromia and Elita One. There, so got yesterday. Actually, they both came in yesterday, which is kind of cool. Um, but yeah, they're making the whole. It looks like they're going to be doing a whole crew there because they also have a Lancer going on, and they're kind of just doing these kind of like really like kind of obscure characters, like making them into action figures. Like, you know, they have like some of the older versions of like what the Primes used to look like, or the older Autobot leaders, because they weren't really the Primes, like 13 Primes back then. It was just kind of like they were kind of referred to as the Autobot leaders. You know, it wasn't really until more recent days in the aligned continuity where they um, decided to kind of streamline everything, kind of give it a more concrete identity, I suppose. Like a lot of those, like, but like there's like a whole episode in five. I think it's like the first arc of season 3, the Five Faces of Darkness or whatever, where you kind of see Hot Rod. He takes off the he kind of like turns himself offline almost, and basically tries to communicate with all the other Autobot leaders through the Matrix and all that. And so, uh, you see a bunch of these other older Autobot leaders before Optimus Prime and all that. So. And so, Like Toys has kind of gone and made a bunch of these 3D printed action figures, which none of them are, they're not really the same quality as like a Fans Toys or an X Transbots like figure, but it scratches the itch, for some people, because you never know, some of these like really obscure characters in G1 are ever going to get made. Like the fembots are kind of obscure because they're only in like 1 or 2 episodes. But it is nice that the options are out there. And yeah, actually, the ones I got, the Lethal One and Chrome, are actually pretty good figures for what they are. Not good. I didn't buy them knowing it was if I knew it was going to be like I kind of knew what I was getting into when I bought them. Um, my thing is like just the idea that these third party companies are going to do them at one day is kind of maybe maybe that they'll make them, but you know I'm impatient, so I'm just like, no, you're not gonna make them now. I'm gonna get these guys. So that's my whole mindset right now. So I got a collection to complete, so if you're not gonna be doing what I want, then I'm gonna go find it elsewhere, I suppose. Let's see, is that a good angle? There you go. Gotta keep adjusting the angle. Okay. Yeah, just do the same thing we did last on the other side. Oh, I gotta do the edges. Okay. So that's we'll do the yellows, and then we'll let that kind of identify where the gold's going to go. I only have a few metallic colors so I gotta be careful how I use them. So that's why I'm doing this kind of under this sort of a base coat almost like it's kind of quasi base coat. Um, just kind of it kind of helps fill in the gaps a little bit. If you're if I run out. And okay, just but after this diorama, I think the next one will probably be the Jetfire one because I don't think I posted that on Twitter or anything like that. But yeah, I did get a new did get a Jetfire a couple of months ago actually. So it's didn't really. He's right up there on the skate shelf, like right there, right next to Ultra Magnus there. So I do have a Jetfire now. So season one cast is actually kind of done for both Autobots and Decepticons now. So just a few. Actually, no, I'm just missing two Constructicons. Then it's done. Just wait on X Transbots to make their hook and Mixmaster, and then we're done. And there's just a few more pieces in season two, which are just a for the Autobots side. Actually, the Decepticons are all done for season two. Just the Autobots are missing a few. Uh, just missing Omega Supreme, Defensor, Hotspot, and then three Autobots, and then we're done. Done with season one and two. After that, so and these like 10-bot shells, but these are more miscellaneous part of the main crew. So, but anyways, okay, all right, that should be good enough for the oranges. So, okay, those are oranges. Now we can go ahead and grab our yellows. Grab a different brush for that. I'll use this kind. And out. What's going on? Shouldn't be out. Jesus. What's wrong with you? Who's that mustard? That should be good enough for now. Jesus, what is going on? Okay, let's spot our yellows. And drop our brushes. I'm not gonna be too conscious about making little blemishes because I will be covering them up anyways later on with the metallic paint. So just need a rough idea of where all the colors are going. And I think we'll do. Let's see. Let's do a yellow here, yellow here. Let's do. I want to keep these ones gray. These ones in the middle. It's gonna help them pop out. So yellow or gold rather. It's gonna be gold there eventually. Gold, gold, gray, gray, yellow. So I think we'll do yellow here, yellow here, yellow here. Same thing on this side. Gray, yellow. So this one and this one, both of them. Okay, and then everything else will remain gray or a gunmetal type gray or something like that. And all these yellow bits are going to be gold. So gold, bronze, silver. That's kind of our objective for this one. Hopefully, it's a good combination of colors. It's kind of hard to do because the other one I did with the Galvatron was kind of different because like just purples and blues, you know. So I have the colors that kind of complement each other together. Sort of vibes. Yeah, smaller brush for my yellows. Okay, there's some gaps there need to be filled up. Hold on. Okay, to a minute. Yeah, this area should not get enough love. There. Yeah, this is a bit. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's looking a lot bluer on the camera. And actually, it's actually just gray. It's not actually blue. case people are wondering. Mm-hmm. I guess should I just continue that onward? Yeah, might as well. Let's go all the way. Well, okay. Yeah, because we did with the orange anyways, so might as well just do the same. Cool. Then we just do this. These are the easy ones. What about any of the edges? But yeah, so I designed this shelf to fit a possible Alphatron. That's why there's these different layers here. Because obviously the fembots are about the same height as like an iron hide, so and the shelf itself is pretty high. It has a lot of like vertical space. So I decided that well, if I put Alpha Trine there, it kind of balance things out. So Alpha Trine would go in the middle, and then I'd spread out the six fembots kind of accordingly. There are six fembots. You know, it's not just Lita One, Chromia, Moonracer, and Firestar. There's two others who are kind of just background characters before they got named. Um, which I can't really remember when that happened. When I was saying it's happening. Like with Transformers, like with those like kind of like background characters, you know, they kind of get named over time by either by the fans themselves sometimes, because sometimes they're like, oh, who's this character? Who's this jet in the background? Who's this yellow star scream or whatever? That's where Sunstorm kind of came around. So like, because sometimes they'll just have like background characters that don't really do a whole lot, but fans kind of come around and say, "Oh yeah, that guy could be somebody." So that's his story. Yeah, that's the revive. Oh, I forgot to do the edges there. Yeah. Hold on. Let's just fix that before I do go any further. There we go. Okay, let's do the top ones first. They're easier. Usually, it's just kind of better to do the easy stuff first. Get them out of the way. And then focus on the hard stuff. That way, when you're doing the hard stuff, you know that once you're done, you're done. So the blue is still dry on the background, so not too sure how much more we can do then for the stream. Because the way we kind of do the streams here is we basically go until there's nothing left to do. So um, that usually means when I'm just waiting for paint to dry. I'm just like, okay, well, I think the stream's over. And sometimes these streams are gone. It's like 30 minutes sometimes because of that. Because there's not a whole lot to do, especially for this one, because it's just the base layer and the background layer. And if everything's drying, then there's nothing more I can really do. So aside from just twiddle my thumbs, I guess, for a couple of hours. But so the way we kind of do this, we just kind of split them different parts into different parts for me to work on them. But it's like okay, well, some of them are actually kind of drying, so you probably do some work on the buildings. brush, tidy up these little spots here. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. Gives me kind of a rough layout for where I want to put my gold and my bronze. So I'll kind of show those off real quick before we just give you a little bit of context. So I have a bunch of metallic paints that I've used over the years. Some of them are a little bit out of it, but there's some that are still full. So I'll probably use those ones mostly. With that one, I might try using this kind of it's like a kind of a color shift paint. I guess it kind of goes from black to like a gold type color. So I don't know. I might give it a try in a few areas, maybe. Yeah, I'm sure we can get too much out of this one, but oh, there's my bronze. So this is the bronze I'll probably be using for this one. So these guys. So yeah. Oh, copper bronze. Whatever. It's all the same to me. Yeah, those are all my paints I'll be using on top of this, but gotta let it all dry. So yeah, so I've moved that off to the side, see how much we can get done with the back walls. If not, then we'll have to kind of call it a wrap from there. Some of the oranges actually drying, but I'll let it all dry so I don't mess anything up for a couple hours. Yeah, it looks like all this is still kind of drying out, so I guess I could do some work on the arc base. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that real quick. We'll go from there. So, okay, so we'll use the one that we move the other way. Paint's back. So I think we'll use a very, very different or gold from the one we'll use for the base. So keep this one, the one with the most paint in it for the base, and then we'll use some of these older ones for the one in the back. So, okay. I'll use this brush. And we'll just do a really quick run through of the arc here. So might need more than one coating. So Let's do it. Let's see. Run my sponge stick through it. Yeah, I decided to make the arc the base for it anyways. Just a little bit smaller. Just kind of push it back into the background a bit more because last time it was like huge overtaking everything. Didn't really make sense because it's like they're supposed to be like further away from the arc in the diorama, so I feel like this kind of works better. I wasn't really feeling the base, the bottom half actually yesterday. Just wasn't really doing it for me. Just felt like it was uh, lacking, but I found a way to kind of make this all work out with the gutters and all that. It kind of helps to kind of break things up and kind of fix up the perspective a little. You know, so it's like, wait, it's a little bit too high up. I'll make it work. So I don't want to go back and I didn't want to have to go back and repaint this one. I'll let that dry for a bit. Then we'll just add like line work and stuff with a pen later on. Most important thing here is just get the colors and the shapes. Just kind of cover up all that orange. Okay, now just let that dry for a bit, and then I think that's about it. I don't know what else I can do. Still waiting for a lot of this to kind of dry. So I think that's going to be it for the stream for the day. So yeah, that's about it. Doesn't really look like a whole lot's been done, but we did pretty good with the base layer mostly. So um, yeah, a lot of the early stuff of doing these dioramas kind of takes the longest because you're just waiting for paint to dry, getting the base coats in. You know, that's why I did the base coats uh, off air last night or yesterday when I was doing the spray painting because it just kind of helps speed things along a little bit more. So, but yeah, I might come back a little later on tonight. Just let this all dry. Might do a part two later on in the day, and yeah, that'll probably be it for me at least for now. Just want to take a little break, get some food in me, you know. So yeah, I'm in for about an hour, so not too bad. So anyways, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you guys maybe later tonight. We'll see. Just gotta wait for the paint to dry, and we'll see how we're doing. But yeah, take care, everybody, and I will see you guys later.